You know this is going to be a rant video when I start clapping before we even start. Hello everyone, I am Mecha Random 42, your favorite YouTube harpy, and Star Trek Discovery's mansplaining takedown returns to the series' roots. Devin Maloney. Okay, I have to see. Oh, of course you are. Of course you are. You'll see why I'm angry. I skimmed through this article. You'll see why I'm angry. Oh, what's her little line here? It's a brutal moment with a pointed message in a franchise that's always been about progressive politics. Not in preaching, but in actually presenting a decent discussion and debate. There's a difference. Eat a dick. I hate these ignorant propaganda pieces that are designed to insert an uneducated political agenda into something that doesn't fucking belong. I am sick of this shit. Warning, spoilers ahead for season 1 of Star Trek Discovery and for the season 2 premiere of Brother. Who cares? Who really cares at this point? It's all kind of terrible. We don't care. When Star Trek Discovery returned for its second season last week, it came with an assurance plan and a risk. First, the premiere episode Brother welcomed Christopher Pike, Anson Mount, the captain who helmed the original series USS Enterprise in its rejected initial 1965 pilot before Trek creator Gene Roddenberry was asked to create a new pilot with the now iconic James T. Kirk in the chair. Whatever grumblings Trekkies may have had about the bald fan service decision to bring Pike and his first officer, the also iconic Vulcan Spock, I would say more iconic, more people know who Spock is than Pike, into the picture at the end of season 1. It was an inevitability. No, you really didn't have to do it. And in fact, see my video on the subject where I do expose the producers' lies when they do say, oh yes, we're never going to include Spock. You're never going to see the Spock or the Enterprise. Yeah, so they have a history of lying to us. We know this. As the first new Star Trek series in over a decade, Discovery grounded itself in prequel territory. Yeah, I'll agree to that. They really shouldn't have been there from the get-go by revealing that its star, Michael Burnham, played by Sonequa Martin Green, was Spock's adopted human sister that doesn't exist in canon Trek anyway. It only exists in this prime Trek crap that they're giving us. The move was meant, for better or worse, to put doubtful fans a bit more at ease by situating the series adjacent to a familiar canon. But like the series' controversial first season, oh, you mean the one that nobody liked? Yeah. The new episode also featured a pretty direct left turn, bucking the time-honored Trek trope of selecting a red shirt, a low-ranking generic officer to be the sole casualty of the first Starfleet away mission of the season. Discovery instead chose to off a smug, insecure white male science officer mid-mansplaining. Yeah. Let me tell you about this guy in this episode. He was right. He was killed off because of Michael Burnham's attitude. She was bitching at him, and he blew up. But, they were also really stupid, and they flew a bunch of little glass hamster balls through an asteroid field. Because they're smart, like smart people would. Seriously. He was right though. This guy, he comes on board with a bad attitude in this person they're talking about. Bad attitude. Michael Burnham's smug attitude got him killed though, because she's basically sitting there trying to tell him off. It was so frustrating. It's so frustrating. The move was heavy-handed. It's made clear from the moment he appears on the transformer pad. Oh, fuck you. Transformer pad. Devin, stop taking my punk rock look. Seriously, I'm tired of these people. You cannot emulate the Red Harpy. See, this is when I need, like, the Omen music to pop up, but I don't want to get copyright claimed. I need something similar. I need to find something similar to, like, the music from the Omen with the cellos and the... Yeah, that would be perfect right here. Just so they know. Stop trying to copy the Harpy. These people. Did she really? That's coming up. That's coming up for another point. Transformer. So obviously, you have no idea what Star Trek is. You're just some idiot who went to college, who wasn't smart enough for college. You weren't smart enough for college. But they're telling you stuff like, oh, white males have done some damage in the past, and they've kind of run the country, and they've enslaved other, you know. But what you heard is white man bad. Because you're a fucking moron. Devin, if that is your real name. Paid this Lieutenant Connally barging into the story where fans expected Spock. It's kind of a douchebag. More of a Winklevoss than a Vulcan. At every opportunity, he negs Burnham's suggestions and hypotheses about the mysterious red signals that have appeared across the galaxy. Then, when the team deploys in a set of explorer pods, these are the glass hamster balls that I was talking about, to navigate an unpredictable asteroid cluster, he presumes he knows the vehicles better than her, even though she was the original test pilot for the pods. Oh, even though she's a xenoanthropologist. She studies alien species. Oh, and she also knows those Vulcan martial arts, and she's also a nutritional expert, and she's also a botanist, and she's also... Oh, she was assisting in surgery on one episode. She's everything they need her to be. So she's also a test pilot, which is another stupid fucking bullshit thing that they did. When she warns him about the way he's navigating, he starts loudly telling her why she's wrong. In the middle of his explanation, a rogue asteroid runs sidelong into his pod, killing him instantly. She basically distracted him by bitching at him, is what she did. The bitch got him killed by nagging his ass. Maybe she should shut her fucking mouth. You ever think of that? You ever think of that, Devin? Devin, you ever think of that? Maybe she should have shut her mouth. Then she wouldn't have killed the guy. Because he was right. The entire episode, he was right. Given that we barely heard... It's this guy. It's this guy. It's this guy here that got sneezed on by the Saurian. Given that we barely heard a word from the mission's female red shirt, a dead giveaway in previous treks that the character is disposable and likely to be a goner, killing off Connally is a starkly political choice. Well, that's kind of what we thought. We thought it was basically saying, fuck you, white men. Basically. Discovery's creators have been making decisions like this from the show's conceptualization. First, they steered away from the classic male commander protagonist by centering the show around a black female first officer who was court-martialed and stripped for her rank for treason. Like an idiot they did that. Why would you do that? That's suicide and nothing to do with the color. A court-martialed mutineer. Forget the color of her skin, because that's irrelevant. It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be a Caucasian. The first officer was court-martialed and stripped of their rank for treason. Imagine if that was Captain Kirk. Seriously, let's picture it. Picture if it was Captain Kirk. We would still hate this character. Second, they introduced the first gay couple in Trek history, which is not true. Not at all true. There have been gay couples. Deep Space Nine, Dax and the female scientist that the Trills inside of them, that the symbiotes had previously had a relation in previous hosts, and then they came back together as Dax and this woman, and they had way more in common, and it was kind of taboo just because the symbiotes had been married before, not because they were women. The intendant had many female lovers. There have been many same-sex couples in Star Trek. And keep in mind, this may be reoccurring characters. So was Mirror Universe intendant Kira. Was she intendant? She was intendant, right? In Deep Space Nine. you had some recurring characters here, and that's pretty much the level of Trek character that Wilson Cruz is. He's kind of just a reoccurring guest star at this point. Seriously, James Darren, Vic Fontaine, the hologram in Deep Space Nine in the last season, had more screen time, I believe, than Wilson Cruz has an entire run in Star Trek. So I barely even consider him a main character. Gul Dukat had more screen time in Deep Space Nine. Fuck, Shran in Enterprise had more screen time. Okay, so keep this in mind when we're considering that this is like an actual character. This is barely a character. Anthony Rapp is Lieutenant Paul Stamets, and Wilson Cruz is Dr. Hugh Culber. Third, they framed a series' only prominent straight white male, Jason Isaacs, as Captain Gabriel Lorca, as a secret fascist, human supremacist villain. Of course they did. Of course they did. Like a bunch of asshole SJWs. On top of everything else, the show frequently tosses in tiny pointed nods to progressive politics. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say progressive. I call them regressive because they're basically discriminatory. They're basically racist and sexist and bigoted. So that's why we call them regressive politics. Guess what? People on the left don't like this either. I'm actually on the left. A lot of you probably don't realize that. I don't discriminate because I don't care about politics. I care about having the choice of whether or not to make up my own mind if you present me with a well-intelligent written story. But if you're just going to preach to me like the new Doctor Who, like Star Trek Discovery, then it's just stupid. I know it's going to go in one ear and out the other, and I'm going to say, more politic children, more children preaching politics to me. Seriously. A subplot involving a resource-consuming technology prompts Burnham to deliver a mini lecture about conservation. An encounter with a xenophobic culture inspires some head-shaking about the short-sightedness and weakness of homogeneity. Why can't I say that? And people who fear anyone who doesn't look like them. From its opening episodes, Star Trek Discovery has been actively thumbing its nose at every social media bombing. Jordan Peterson following crybaby whining, "Oh fuck you, suck a dick. Up the ass, suck it, seriously." You know those hentai where you have like the giant dick, like the guy's got the dick that's like this big and he shoves it up the woman and it shoots out of her mouth? Suck that one. Take that one. Seriously. Oh my god. This is why I am liberal. I am liberal. Many Star Trek fans are liberal. We don't care about politics because we're not here to discuss it. And when we hear shit like this, it only divides people further, you stupid woman. And this is just insulting. This is just saying every blue hair, every glasses wearing, bad haircut, snarky, smirky faced feminazi. That's exactly what you're saying. You're making yourself out to be a childish, name-calling bitch is what you're doing. That's all you're doing, Devin. Crying baby whining about PC culture and the war on masculinity. Along with every talk show host bemoaning the aggressive push for diversity in pop culture. But before, actually, Discovery has been really pushing a lot of its diversity stuff on social media. Most of the marketing, most of the interviews, Sonequa Martin Green going, "I'm the first black this, I'm the first black." I don't care. I don't care what color you are. You're a bad actress on a bad TV show. I don't care what color you are. But for any Trekkie worth their salt, this stance ought to come as no surprise, since openly progressive politics is a natural extension of what Star Trek has literally existed to do from its 1960s inception. No, it did not talk about the current politics. It showcased a different vision of how advanced we could be as a species. You had women walking around in mini skirts on the bridge of the Enterprise in the 60s because it reflected what futuristic women who were descended from the modern females of the time would be comfortable showing on their bodies, because they would be liberated enough to do so. They wouldn't be shamed into hiding everything. And they gave you, like I said, they gave you an intelligent discussion and debate instead of just preaching. There's a huge difference here. It sounds like clearly you haven't ever watched Star Trek, because you called it a transformer instead of a transporter. So any Trekkie worth their salt would not make that mistake. So clearly you have no idea what you're talking about. Yes, Star Trek has always been progressively leaning, but they never beat you over the head with it. There was always a debate. There was always a discussion. And this is what Star Trek Continues does too. Its cultural and political stance has been baked into the show since its opening lines, boldly going where it said where no man has gone before. You know, like a lot of these speeches of the time. It's the franchise's DNA. The whole point of Star Trek, to quote Pike in the Discovery premiere, to make a little noise, ruffle a few feathers. No, don't quote Pike in the Discovery. That's not gonna be a line anyone cares about. I don't even remember him saying that. To afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted by portraying a future in which so much of the oppression and injustice regularly committed in the current era was solved long ago. Whining by Discovery's obvious stunting or suggestion that is too performatively woke is forgetting the TV show's history and its longtime intentions. Yes, it was about equality, not male bashing. You stupid bitch. I'm sorry if this is going to be personal. Equality was the difference. They treated men and women the same. You had female admirals, you had female captains, you had female crew members who were called Mr. You know, you addressed Captain Janeway as Sir. She preferred ma'am, but Sir would have been perfectly legit. You know, this shit. It's always been progressive, but it's never been regressive like this. It's never been openly heterophobic. It's never been racist against white people like you guys are kind of doing now. You hate men. You are sexist. Every man on this show who's not gay is either incompetent, killed off, talked down to. Seriously. This whole article proves how regressive it is. Equality is not progression. Or equality is not this woke shit that you guys want, right? Equality is what Star Trek was. This shit is male bashing, mansplaining. Mikey Burnham is always right. Any man on the show just needs to listen to her, despite of whether it's her captain or not. You guys don't get it. You guys do not understand what equality or real true progressives are. You don't understand any of this shit. And this is the same type of people who go around saying, "Oh yeah, Vic's guilty. You need to throw him under the jail," like Vic Mignogna and the Kick Vic stuff. It's like, no, actual real liberals tend to say, "Hey, due process, innocent until proven guilty," stuff like that. So you these far left crazy SJW types just don't understand things. They're not smart enough to understand things in life. They need to crawl back inside their mama. They're not done gestating. Seriously. Part of the inevitable backlash from this dark corner of Trek fandom, of course, is generational. Oh, now you're ageist. Thanks a lot for being so progressive that you're now prejudiced against people that are older than you. How old are you? About 45, 50 here? Realistically, she's probably 35. I'm 40. I look better. Oh, many of today's Trekkies watched the original series, TOS, long after its initial run and watched series of the 80s and 90s, Next Gen, Voyager, and DS9, that's me, when they were decades younger and thus likely more open-minded than they might be today. Ageist much. Seriously, I am so tired of these prejudiced people. Those experiences lightly cemented the fans' idea of what progressivism on TV should look like at the time, still centered on straight, white, cisgendered men. Guess what, Devin? A record 4.5% of adults in the U.S. identify as LGBT as of May 25th, 2018. So, how is it, Devin, seriously, how is it that we are supposed to have a nice representative, progressive, liberal, what actually represents the country, when you're saying that we need to have, no white cisgendered men, straight white cisgendered men, right? Straight white cisgendered men, when even today, only 4% are gay or identify as LGBT, since you use the straight here. We've had a black captain, we've had a woman captain. We should be beyond caring about this shit. I am not so self-centered. I need to see myself represented on TV. Because I already am. I am the Red Angel that's probably going to come and destroy the entire universe of Star Trek. I hope. They're probably going to play a huge joke on me and make it so that I created Michael Burnham or something, because I have done that much damage to the show. Hopefully. Anyway, because if it's stupid shit like this, it's just stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid for the sake of stupid. While Voyager featured a white woman as captain, and DS9 a black man, TOS and TNG and much later Enterprise featured heterosexual white men in the starring slots. Well, guess what? 95% of the people are heterosexual. Suck it. Seriously, suck it. And Julie Blaylock, well, we had Malcolm. No, that wasn't Malcolm. Mayweather. We had Mayweather. I don't remember the people on Enterprise that much. No, we had Hoshi. We had Mayweather. You had diversity, even though it kind of seemed like tokenism. This stuff really bothers me. Star Trek progressivism was instead often expressed in ways that were in the vanguard of popular sentiment, but not so far beyond as to completely alienate conservative viewers. See, they let you make up your own mind, and they didn't preach to you. And that's the problem. People don't like being preached to, you stupid woman. But Ronald Reagan, for example, was reportedly a Next Generation fan. Although, let's be real, he probably never saw The Outcast. Well, that's cute. She could Google a Star Trek episode. While Gene Roddenberry was alive, he famously had to fight Paramount and the networks for his more radical ideas, and he frequently lost those battles. For instance, when he tried to give the Enterprise a female first officer or portray an openly gay relationship in the 80s. See, they were trying to portray this stuff then. And how is it fair that you're judging the past standards on today's crazy batshit regressive, sexist, racist ways? Seriously, you're trying to judge our actual progressive, idealized futuristic vision of the future with today's modern, sexist, racist, heterophobic ways. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this. You guys gotta stop. You really have to. There were always limits to what Trek was allowed to do. The progressive, futurist elements that did get through defined the series for many of the fans who loved the shows. But for straight, cis white men, who the fuck writes like this? Who says this? A fundamental part of the story was their assured place at the forefront of the progressive shows they were making. In this era, putting a black woman in that slot, also staffing Discovery's bridge crew with mostly female officers, needed to be a given from day one. Why? It's not like they have any lines or do anything. You just have them there to fill a vag quotient. Seriously. And you know what? Hey, can we have proof of that? Can we see some crotch shot? Can we see some panty shots from some of these girls? I'm serious. Because the only nudity that you got an R rating. You're on CBS All Access. We got nudity, we got F-bombs, we got swearing. Where's the bush? We got bush? No? Then I'm not watching anymore. Seriously. We want to see some bush on this show. Or shaved, doesn't matter. Fans of color. particularly women, have been increasingly vocal about their limited representation on screen for the past decade. I haven't been. Particularly women. No, 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 no. No, I have not. Fans of color, particularly women. I'm not a woman of color. I am mixed race. I don't care who's on this show. I don't care what color they are on the show. I grew up watching Good Times and the Jeffersons. Seriously, I didn't care. What's Happening was great too. Now I want to watch all the 70s shows I grew up on as a kid. Seriously, people don't care. People see all kinds of people in the streets. People all see all kinds of people in schools, workplaces. We are beyond this petty bullshit. And not acknowledging the lack of a new Star Trek show would have been the series' first obvious mistake, at least if the showrunners wanted to continue the franchise's tradition to push towards a more inclusive, equitable future. Well, it's not inclusive if you hate white men, if you hate straight, cisgendered white men. The second season's premiere, a blunt deconstruction of the toxic white male masculine. Oh, fuck. Do I have to read any more of this? I really don't want to read any more of this. This is so insulting. This is beyond insulting and disgusting. I'm just gonna skim through this because once I start seeing, you know, white male cis, toxic white male masculinity, I don't. Star Trek has never been written for conservative snowflakes. I melt snowflakes, bitch. I'm done with this article. I'm done with Devin Maloney with a fucking verified check mark. I'm done. I am done with this. The whole geek, nerd, dork fan movement was a bunch of people who look at life differently. They're the ones who are leading the change today, not just with Star Trek, but frankly the world. Yeah, remember that. We actually cared, and we actually cared about equality and not bashing another group. Remember that? Remember that? I'm out with that article. Once you start saying snowflakes, once you start name calling like you're 5, then you're fair game for me. I'm sorry, Devin. You are fair game for me. I'm not happy with this article. This is what's wrong with Star Trek. You get these people who are not smart enough to be on this earth interacting with others, and they start reciting buzzwords, and they start reciting catchphrases, and they're nothing more than these little pre-programmed NPC robot mimics. They're basically like a parrot, except a parrot might have a little more understanding of what's right and wrong. Like, oh shit, I shouldn't say that. I melt snowflakes. I did that on a t-shirt. I did make that red harpy that melts snowflakes and laser eyes, something like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm disgusted at that level of journalism and name-calling and bullying. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on the next video or live stream. Bye! Thanks for watching! If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!